Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do just a most used makeup video. I figured it would be a nice reprieve in these times to just kind of sit back and think about what are the most used items in your makeup routine. So I'm going to start off and try to do a full face. Now, there are some items that are going to be harder for me to say what I use the most and what I don't use the most, so those items I'm not going to include. But for the things that I know for a fact I use the most, I think I have most of them in front of me. With that said, let's start with primers. So, of course, my most used primer is the No Problem primer from Touch in Sol. This is my second one, and I'm halfway through it right now. Also, the e.l.f. putty primers. This one is the matte one, and I've used an entire poreless putty primer. And as you tell, I don't know if you can see it on camera. There we go. There's a pretty good dent in this one so far. And one of my new favorites is this Iconic Beauty Los Angeles Blur Stick that I got in a Try Beauty box. I really like how this one feels on the skin. So these are my three go-to primers. Now, those are the most used primers in my collection. I do have some other ones, but those are the ones that I go to all the time. Foundations is a different story. I have several. One of my favorites is I guess it's KVD now, but it was Kat Von D's True Portrait Foundation. This one is almost empty, as you can tell. There's that window or whatever. This one's almost empty, and I have a backup of this one. Really love the coverage on this. Really love the finish on this one. And my NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I also have a backup of this one. As you can tell, it's quite used as well. Now, those are my two high-end foundations, and then I have three drugstore foundations. So L'Oreal Paris, this is the Infallible Pro Matte. This is my third one of these that I've used. I think this one's about halfway right now, but I love the finish on this. I love how it looks and how long it wears. I have the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. This is the original one. And I just got my backup of this one in yesterday. And the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. This has been a long time favorite on my channel. But they've changed some of the names in the range. Like this one is light ivory, but they don't have that shade anymore. So the backup that just came in yesterday, my new shade is light. So, yeah. But I love the wear of this and the look. This is actually what I have on today, and it wears very well and it looks very fine. So those are my three drugstore foundations and my two higher end foundations. I don't wear the same foundation every single day. I rotate out what foundation I wear. So I always have a different foundation on each day. Moving on, powders are something, my loose powders are always something different. I do kind of gravitate to the e.l.f. loose powder, but I don't have any of that right now because it is cheaper and you do get a lot of that, but I don't have any of that right now. So for pressed powders, I usually go with the Physicians Formula. This is the translucent one, and as you can tell, I'm almost out. Or the Rimmel London Stay Matte. which, as you can tell, is almost gone. But I have a backup of this one. And those are the ones that I set my entire face with, and then I use the light powder for baking. But I'm trying out some different loose powders, so I don't have one that I use all the time right now. Bronzers, I bounce between two different ones. This is the Wet n Wild Ticket to Brazil bronzer. This is the older packaging, but this is one that I usually have on hand. And then the e.l.f. Primer Infused bronzer. This is in Forever Sunkiss. And as you can tell, we've already hit pan in the middle, but I love the way it looks. So those are bronzers that I gravitate to the most. Blushes, I kind of do go all over the place with, but I do have a few that I do gravitate to the most. So the one that I do gravitate to the absolute most is the Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink one. There's quite a dent in here. Then I have the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush. This is Always Cheeky. This one is way more powdery than the bronzer, but it's still a good blush. And then I have my Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Neo Blush in Rose Cliff. It's very pretty. I got this off of Poshmark. I didn't pay the Kevyn Aucoin price for it. And then one that just doesn't matter how many times I've used it, doesn't seem to ever get a dent in it, is the Cargo Blush. I got this out of a Tribe Beauty box as well. It just seems to never ever get a dent in it, but you just need a little bit of it and it looks beautiful. My go-to contour palette is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess, and I think every shade in here has a pretty good hurting on it. These darker ones down here I mix with this Halo shade. It usually gives me the perfect shade for my skin tone. My perfect shade is actually Princess Cut, which is this middle shade right here, but this is my go-to contouring palette. If I'm looking for what I'm going to use for contour, I usually pick this up. And I actually have a backup of this entire palette in a drawer over there. Highlighters, I tend to bounce in several directions, but I do have a few that I gravitate to often. One is this Ofra Star Island. I just think it's beautiful. It goes on very easily. It blends out very well. If I'm having issues deciding what highlighter I want to use, I will pull out the Jeffree Star Platinum Ice palette and just pick a shade from here. Now, a few of these are harder to use, but they still work beautifully. So I will pick this if I'm just like can't decide which one individual highlighter I want to use. I will pull this out, and then I have my two go-to highlighters, which are the Jeffree Star Manny MUA collab. This is Uranus. It is absolutely gorgeous. From the packaging to the shade to everything is just beautiful. It's this beautiful, lovely, like gold color that is gorgeous. Or my other gravitation is the Jeffree Star Skin Frost, and this one is in Ice Cold. which is the just pure white shade, which blends out beautifully, and I don't have to fuss with it. Being as pale as I am, I can get it to just blend out and look beautiful. So those are the ones I kind of gravitate to the most, even though I do have a whole lot of highlighters. If I can't just figure out what I want to use, I'll grab one of those. Now I do use blurring powders to get like my contour and blush and everything to play well together. The one I gravitate to the most is the e.l.f. Natural Beads. It has those little balls in there. You just kind of swirl your brush around and it makes everything kind of blend together and look very good. It gives your face this nice, healthy, like warm look to your face, which I love. My other favorite is the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder. This is in Golden Hour, which it looks beautiful on the skin and it does blend everything together and it gives you that nice healthy look as well. So either one of these are great and I love them both. And you guys all know my go-to eyebrow pencil is the e.l.f. Lifted Brow Pencil, and this is in the shade Taupe. I've gone through so many of these and I actually think this one, yeah, this one's getting quite low as well. So this is like my go-to. It's actually the one I have in my brows today. This is my go-to eyeliners, even though I have quite a few eyeliners, are the Appeal Cosmetics eyeliners. These stay put and they look beautiful. I actually have this one, which is Stripped, in my waterline today. That's the shade itself. But I have Stripped. This is Desert Taupe, which is another favorite of mine. And then I also have Deep Taupe, which is a darker brown. But these stay where they're supposed to. They don't run, they don't glop up in the corners of your eyes, so I love these so much. I don't really have like a ride or die mascara per se. Now I have repurchased the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, but I'm not currently using it. I am currently using this Tarte Big Ego Mascara, which I quite enjoy. I do like it. It's what I've got on today. But am I going to pay that high price tag to buy it again? Probably not. So for mascaras, it's usually I will use whatever I get in a subscription box. I have a few that I have tucked back that will, when that one runs out, I'll just pull another one out, and that's kind of how I go with my mascaras, to be honest. And lip products and eyeshadows are usually hard for me to narrow down the ones that I use the most. Eyeshadows, I switch out my eyeshadow palettes literally every single day. Each day I wear a different eyeshadow palette, I go for a different eye look, and I match my lips to go with my eye looks. So picking one eyeshadow palette that is like my go-to ride or die, kind of hard for me to do. Now, lip products, I do have two that I've used a ton that I have backups of. One that I'm actually fixing to have to use the backup for it. The Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick, this is in Baby Daddy. This is one of my first Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks. This one is almost empty. I do have a backup for it. It is like the perfect nude shade. But This one's almost empty, but I do have a backup for it, so I'm fixing to have to pull the backup out for this one. And then my other one that I use quite often is the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in Can't Relate. This is a more pinky nude, but it is also a very good nude lipstick, and I do have a backup for it. I don't think this one is quite as empty as this one is, but I do have backups for both of these. This one was my very first one. I think this one may have been like my third or fourth Jeffree Star liquid lipstick, but these were kind of close together in me getting them. But that is kind of like my most ride or die stuff now. Setting sprays, you guys all know my ride or die setting spray is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Matte Setting Spray. Love this stuff. You get this at Walmart. It's like $10. I love this stuff. It lasts for a very long time. And that is literally all of my hardcore ride or die makeup items. So with that said, in the comment section down below, let me know, what are your ride or die makeup products? Are any of these on your list? If so, what do you think of them? If not, would you think about trying them? Have you tried them and you don't like them? All of those, leave that in the comment section down below. In the description box, there are 3 ways to support this channel. It's Patreon, PayPal, and Minds. And all of my social media will be linked in the description box below. It's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my email. I have 2 links for subscription boxes. I'm not an affiliate of either one. I do not get any monetary value if you use my links, but one is for BoxyCharm. I get charms to shop in the charm room, and some of the items like this Park Avenue Princess palette, these Appeal Cosmetics eyeliners, the No Problem primer, were all from BoxyCharm. Also, like some of my ride or die brushes, which are all of my Luxie brushes. I would not pay this high price for these brushes, but I do get them in BoxyCharm quite frequently. So if you're thinking about trying BoxyCharm, there's a link down below for you guys. Like I said, I don't get any monetary value, but I do get charms to shop in the charm room, which will give me more items to bring to the channel to talk to you guys about. Then I have a link for Tribe Beauty Box. Now, again, I don't get any money if you use my link, but I got things like this Cargo Blush and the Iconic Beauty Blur Stick, and they have so many great items in Tribe Beauty Box to try. This month's box comes out here in April, and I'm really excited to see what they've come up with for this month. But if you use my link to sign up for Tribe Beauty Box, you will get 10% off your first box. Again, I don't get anything for you using my link, but you do get a reward for using my link. So with everything that I've said so far, that's going to end the video right here, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.